The disturbing fact is that we do have that many kids that go missing in our city, and it's been that way for a long time.
Every year, thousands of minorities go missing without being publicly acknowledged or investigated, and in some cases, not even reported. So the question is, what is happening that leads to missing minorities just being forgotten? Approximately 650,000 missing persons are reported each year. Over half are under 17, slightly over half are women, and racially it breaks down like this. 36% are white, 33% are black, 20% are Hispanic, 7% are unspecified, and 2% are Native American. Very few of the cases are murder. The large majority of the cases are cleared up. They either return home or are found dead. Many of the children are runaways or abducted by family members that are often returned within a couple of months. Many of the adult cases are due to drugs and alcohol, psychiatric problems, and dementia or Alzheimer's in many elderly cases. But every year, a couple of thousand remain unfound. Although the data reports 2% of missing persons are Native Americans, the truth is that no one knows. Writer-director Taylor Sheridan has recently drawn attention to the issue with his film Wind River. Sheridan had two researchers spend 3 months trying to find a statistic on the amount of missing Native American women. The result was that they couldn't find one. The data on Native Americans doesn't exist, as the US government is not collecting records of it as they do for other minorities, and many instances are not even reported due to a fear of law enforcement. In 2015, Edith Chavez was abducted from Minnesota and taken to Williston in North Dakota. Chavez believed she was drugged, but was one of the lucky ones. She managed to escape and reported the incident to Williston police. The police refused to take her statement and instead checked her record. Chavez was detained and charged for an unpaid traffic ticket from 2011. Carmen O'Leary, coordinator of the Native Women's Society of the Great Plains in South Dakota, a coalition that provides services to women who experience violence, has said, Native women are not often seen as worthy victims. According to a 2012 Daily Mail article that highlighted how missing black women aren't given any attention in the media, 64,000 black women have gone missing across America. Part of the problem is the missing white woman syndrome. Missing white woman syndrome is a term used by social scientists to describe the media coverage of missing persons that focuses only on cases of young, white, upper-middle-class women and girls. The media tends to only represent this demographic, which is disproportionate to the reality of many male and female minorities that go missing. The coverage of white women often focuses on their role in society as mothers or daughters, compared to when black women are reported missing, which often puts a focus on abusive boyfriends or a troubled past. Black women are represented in a way that places the blame on them, making them appear not only less innocent, but also less worthy of rescue. In short, when it comes to the media, black men, women, and children are shown in a negative light if they are given any coverage at all. Michael Murphy, who was a coroner in Las Vegas for 13 years, said that issues of missing persons needs attention, and it will need attention forever. He went on to say that it could mean a perpetrator is free to strike again. Such an instance happened in the 1980s and 2000s when serial killer Grim Sleeper murdered at least 10 black women. After several deaths of black women in South Los Angeles, a community of members formed the Black Women Count movement. The movement put pressure on police to form a task force and to acknowledge the murders as those of a serial killer. The police formed a secret task force, and what they found was that there wasn't one serial killer, but several. After 4 months, reporter Christine Pelisek for LA Weekly broke the news of the task force and criticized Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa and Police Chief William J. Bratton for not warning the community of the existence of any serial killer. In some cases, LA Weekly was the first to inform the families that their daughters were killed at the hands of a serial killer. One of those murderers was the Grim Sleeper, so called due to the apparent 14-year break he took in his crimes, from 1988 to 2007. In 2010, he was caught and sentenced to death. According to Todd Matthews, founder of Name Us, there are 40,000 unidentified remains in morgues and cemeteries, and finding out who they are can help bring closure to families who wait years to find out what happened to their loved ones, and sometimes never find out at all. In 2002, 16-year-old Alice Almendiris alerted the police to her missing father when his regular calls to her ceased after Father's Day. The police told Almendiris that maybe her father didn't want to be found. and ended their involvement before it began. Alice didn't give up. 8 years later, she returned to the police to file a missing persons report. But the case was closed 2 years later when officials claimed they couldn't reach the Almendiras family. It wasn't until 2014 that Alice Almendiras finally had her answer, when a county anthropologist obtained Alice's DNA and discovered that her father was a John Doe the police had found at the time Alice had first contacted the authorities. The police didn't obtain her DNA at the time because it wasn't procedure. He had died less than 5 minutes from her home. Many developments in missing persons cases have often come from independent people frustrated with inadequate police efforts. NamUs has been instrumental in solving many cases of missing persons and continues to do so. Founder Todd Matthews first gained media attention in 1998 when he used the internet to help identify a murdered Kentucky woman who went unnamed for 3 decades. Matthews set up NamUs in 2007. Effectively, it combines 2 databases, the Unidentified Persons Database and the Missing Persons Database. Users can search the cases of missing persons against unidentified remains and solve cases. In some instances, public citizens have pieced together resolutions to missing persons on their own. In 2008, the Black and Missing Foundation was founded. Their mission is to bring awareness and attention to missing persons of color and to provide friends and families who are looking for their loved ones with resources and support. As of 2012, the foundation had helped to find nearly 100 people, and their presence has only grown since then. Troy Ide, who served on the Indian Law and Order Commission, spent 2 years researching a report which describes law enforcement jurisdiction in Indian country as an indefensible morass of complex, conflicting, illogical commands. The report went on to blame this issue on the US government for creating the situation. In a chilling observation, Laura M. Madison, who co-launched the now-defunct Save Weabe map that tracked missing Indigenous women, said, "Indigenous women go missing twice, once in real life and a second time in the news," which is something that can be said of all missing minorities.
Hey, YouTubers, if you liked what you just watched, why don't you take your index finger and stick it on the mouse, press like, subscribe, and then maybe a comment for the warm and fuzzies. I don't know, a couple cartwheels, maybe a backflip. If you don't, I'll personally haunt you forever. Who am I kidding? I'm gonna do that anyway.